አፈጣሪ ማለት የሌሉ ነገሮችን ለምሳሌ እግዚአብሔር ከልቡ አውጥቶ እንደፈጠራቸው ሁሉ እኛም በልባችን ያሉ ነገሮችን ወደ ኤግዚስተንስ መጥራት እንደምንችል ካወቃችሁ this is what we call አማልክት ብለን የምንጠራው ይሄንን ነው። አንተ ትናገራለህ ትፈጥራለህ፣ የምትናገረው ይፈጠራል። ጨለማን የማፈርሰው እኔ ነኝ፣ ሙታንን የማስነሳው እኔ ነኝ። እነዛ ትላልቅ ሆቴሎችና ህንጻዎች የኔ ናቸው። አቤት 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 አቤት! ሽንፈት አላወራም፣ ውድቀት አላወራም። ምላስ ከተሳለ የክሬተሩ ጋድ ምን አለ አለ እግዚአብሔር አለ ሆነ ትላለ ይሆናል ማለት ነው። የሁላችሁ ጋድ የሰጠን ቴክኖሎጂ የራሱ ቴክኖሎጂ እሱ ራሱ ገና from the beginning የተጠቀመው ቴክኖሎጂ ነው። ትናገራላችሁ፣ የምትናገሩት ነገር ይሆናል በኢየሱስ አሜን።
What you believe is what will come true for you. Your thoughts create your life.
Did you know the two most powerful words in any language are I am? Whatever you put after those two little words create your reality.
You are going to be walking in an anointing that things that have been held from you are going to start manifesting to you.
You can manifest whatever you want. Visualize it, see it, make a mood board. I love mood boards. You see, I made a mood board many years ago and I put on so many things.
Your words create those faith images.
Good or bad?
Good or bad.
What I see here is a positive development, and sometimes when it comes to making that happen, you can't see it. Faith is knowing that which isn't in front of you yet. It's the vision, it's the trust, it's the decision that I just know it's going to happen. And sometimes that determination is actually what creates it. The faith is a creative force.
See, faith is a force. It's a powerful force that dwells in your spirit.
Well, when you speak words of faith, you are framing whatever it is. You're framing that car that you're believing for. It's a car that faith created.
That's right.
Faith created that car.
Are you ready? Here we go. I am blessed, prosperous, redeemed, forgiven, talented, creative, secure, disciplined.
And even the Word of Faith movement, and we're going to see how they tie in to this practice called manifesting. Joining us to talk about this very important topic is our friend Doreen Virtue. Doreen was heavily involved in the New Age movement before she was saved, and she also toured with New Age gurus like Deepak Chopra and Louise Hayes. And she's now, through her writings and her YouTube channel, she's speaking out against the New Age movement. Doreen, thank you so much for taking your time and coming on the show today.
Hi, Daniel. Hi, Robin. It's always a joy to be with you both.
Oh, thank you.
Likewise.
Thank you. So, before we get started, why don't you talk just a little bit about yourself, your past, and what you're doing now?
Thank you. This topic of manifesting was something that I was raised with by my parents who were steeped in new thought, new age methods and beliefs. And in fact, my dad quit his aerospace engineering job when I was a little girl. And at the same time, we had just bought a house. My mom did not work outside the house. And we had a car that stopped working. And so my dad said, well, we'll manifest a new car. And he went to the local toy store and he selected remember Hot Wheels, the die-cast metal, so toys. He wanted, for some reason, I have no idea why, he wanted a Ford Pinto. This was in the 70s, before I found out they were exploding. And then he wanted a brown Ford Pinto, so he bought a little bottle of what they call Tester's paint, and he painted that little Hot Wheels brown. And then he set it on top of our television set, and he dragged my brother and I and my mother out there, and he walked us through a guided visualization manifestation method of us closing our eyes, visualizing that brown Ford Pinto in our driveway, and also paid in full because they didn't believe in going into debt. And he had us just imagine stroking the lines, the sleek lines of the Pinto, and hearing the engine roar, and getting inside and smelling the new car smell. I mean, he took us through all the senses and just had us affirm that we had this Pinto. And then we had it within, it seemed like a month. We had that brown Ford Pinto out in our driveway. My dad got a couple of magazine writing jobs that paid for it. And he credited the visualization, and then they kept going. And it was so weird because after a while we had 5 Ford Pintos. My brother and I each had one when we were teenagers. My parents each had one, and then we had a spare for parts. We had so many Ford Pintos. This is true. The Ford company called up my parents and asked if they would agree to have them on. They had a commercial campaign called Ford Families, and so they wanted us to be on commercials.
Wow.
I mean, it was like the Sorcerer's Apprentice with Mickey Mouse, where just the buckets keep coming. It was like that. The Ford Pintos kept coming, but they taught us to do this. All through my life, we used manifestation and visualization methods, and so it was something that I was convinced worked. But now I know that this is not biblical at all. This is man-centered, trying to usurp, as if you could, God's sovereignty as the creator.
Wow, Doreen. So when I started looking at manifesting, Doreen, I noticed that it can run the gambit to what seems to be an innocuous practice of just preparing yourself for something in the future to things that are much less innocuous. And we have a clip for you, and just wanted to show you what seems to be a harmless way of practicing manifesting.
The definition of manifesting. What the heck is manifesting, Mel Robbins? Well, let me tell you what manifesting isn't, okay? Manifesting is not thinking thoughts and then hoping that they come true. Thoughts become things only when your thoughts inspire you to take the actions to get those things. That's where manifesting comes in. Manifesting is preparing your mind, body, and spirit to help you take the actions to get those things. That's right. I'm going to say that again. Manifesting is like training for getting what you want. Manifesting is socializing your mind, preparing your mind, rehearsing your mind to help you take the steps before you take the steps so that you can get what you want. When you use manifesting properly, what you do is you remove the obstacles of self-doubt, of resistance, of being cautious, of focusing on tiny minutia, of feeling blank and overwhelmed. You remove all that crap and you retrain your mind and you retrain your nervous system and you retrain your spirit to help you get the things that you want in life. And when you manifest properly, what it does is it inspires you to take the actions that lead you to what you want.
So, Doreen, that was Mel Robbins, and she goes on to give an example of like an athlete who's going to go out to a competition, and prior to doing that, he is in his mind going through every tiny detail of his performance, which will help him be more comfortable when he actually has to compete. So is this harmful?
Well, the key phrase she kept using over and over was get what you want. Mm-hmm. And this is where we can step outside of God's will if we're not careful. It's very different than a baseball player using visualization to have this thought of having a good game. Get what you want is where I got into trouble, and a lot of people do, because you start to get very materialistic. You start to covet those who have seemingly more than you do. And I actually used what she's teaching. It's not new. What she's quoting is something that you covered in one of your videos, Norman Vincent Peale, in his Power of Positive Thinking, and his book, The Positive Imaging, where he taught to imagine that it's already here. He actually taught blasphemously to thank God that you already had it, that God had already given it to you. And so this is law of attraction. This is something that goes back to the spiritualist movement of the 1800s, beginning with an American spiritualist named Andrew Jackson Davis, who wrote a book in 1866, used the term law of attraction first. And he got the information by channeling disincarnated spirits, what the Bible calls unclean spirits. We call them demons or fallen angels. So this is the doctrine of demons telling us to do this.
Right.
And the thing is, it does work, especially for someone like Miss Robbins in this video, because she's selling books on the topic. It's a giant pyramid scheme. So those who sell books and seminars on how to manifest are the ones at the top making the money for those who are buying their products.
Mm-hmm.